Hello everyone, today we are doing something new, a RimWorld mod of all things, called RimRound. I do think this mod is quite popular on its own in the Fat Cabal community, however it is nowhere to be found on YouTube it seems. Well, I do like RimWorld, but that does not make me a good player, so expect me to stumble and reload to fix my mistakes. In this video I did lose once to the plague, by not knowing how the medical bot worked, so I had to reload there. But I did learn that you are supposed to let the bot pick up medicine before it heals anyone. Ugh, I am sorry I suck. Oh yeah, if you have any suggestions on how I can improve the series, or just have some basic RimWorld tips, please put them in a comment. I really need all the help I can get with this one. My goal is to somehow get to the point where I can make a narrative series like Mr. Pete complete, but including, as you know, our favorite spicy mod. Moving on from that, so RimRound, it is a very open-ended mod, so you need a bit of creativity to integrate it into your game, and that is what I will be attempting. We are building a small one-person settlement with the assistance of all of these mechanoids, since our pawn here, Blair, is indeed a mechanoid controller with some signal boosting equipment. As for the story, she is a mechanoid researcher that was working for a glitter world company here in the Rim. But at some point, she decided to go rogue and live out her days in the wilderness with stolen equipment away from her stressful job, and just indulge in her fantasies with her small army of robots tending to her every need. Speaking of those fantasies, she is a fanatic about weight gain that has been suppressed by her company's very strict workout and nutrition regulations. Combined with her gourmand trait and masochism, she really wants to gain weight and will do anything to get to her goal, stuffing herself and ordering her servants to constantly produce and feed her tons of food. You are probably wondering, why does she have a tank behind her bed in her room? Well, she constructed her house around it, as it is her goal to become bigger than that tank. So let's see if we manage to help her get there today. While her escape plan was well made, she did forget some things, or physically could not bring them along. For one, a recharge station for her massive digging mechanoid, so that one is just running on its very low power supply, and she had to mine on her own a few times for steel. The rest of the bots did not have any issues, as she constructed a geothermal recharge station for them, effectively allowing them to work forever. In this starting period, she could not live out her full fantasy yet, as she only brought enough survival meals to last a whole settlement a few weeks. Well, her gluttony was way beyond that, and with her first harvest, she started construction on a feeding system, so she could just lay in bed and slurp hyper-dense nutrient mix. But she also wanted regular meals, those being huge lavish meals. These things were unreasonably massive bundles of fat, and each one could feed a regular person for a week. But our glutton here was stuffing herself with up to 3 of these per day at some points. So talking a bit about our mechanoids, now as their recharge station is complete up there, the 17 bots could easily recharge. If you are trying out something similar on your own, you have probably noticed that they do take a long time to charge up. It's 2 whole days in fact, so I would say it is needed to have at least half the amount of charging stations as you have robots. Oh, and as you can see what happens when they do not have nay power like our big mining Roomba over there. They shut down and start recharging from their own internal reactor or something. I would assume it's some kind of RTG. And that way of recharging is insanely slow, taking up to a year to recharge fully. So the chunky mining Roomba is now a statue in the fridge. Well, he deserves some rest, as most of this base was built on his mining labor. Pour out some WD-40 out for our fallen buddy. The other 2 special mechanoids, we have our fabricator for crafting and more importantly cooking stuff, and the mentioned medical bot. The medical bot requires some knowledge to use, as we will see, but it's pretty cool. It even has a jetpack. The rest of the army is made up of cleaners, haulers, agricultural and construction drones, a grand total of 15 of them, bringing us up to Blair's command limit. I also ordered a mechanoid gestation chamber for the worst case scenario, where we lost one in combat. So combat, as you may have noticed, none of our many drones are the war types, as I like the story to be about a degenerate scientist, and not a mechanoid warmonger. So we will be using a swarm of Roombas to crush an attackers, and of course we will not be attacking anyone first. So moving a bit forward, we get to see some of the RimRound mechanics working their magic with Blair over there getting really hungry from field work with her drones, and indulging in multiple survival meals at once, causing her to become so overstuffed that she could not even get up. But not to fear, as she was able to summon her medical drone to take her to her room to digest her massive meal. And with that, she started to actually gain some weight, but also perks, as they are called in RimRound. There are many of these, and they behave like some kind of skill tree of gluttony, most of them involving eating in some way. Some increase your digestion, some your stomach capacity, some your hunger, and others even make your life as a soon-to-be massive blob easier. It is an interesting system, and you can reach some truly massive sizes, as in the map size. But for today, our goals are just this humble tank in her room. By default settings, eating like this does not really harm your pawn, and even gives them pleasure from being painfully overstuffed if they are a masochist like Blair. And it has the effect of stretching out the stomach to be able to consume larger meals in the future, so it's a win-win. But it does require some bed rest for digestion. As she takes a dip in the pond, Blair also decides that she has had enough of these annoying tasks that she is not even that good at, so she stops doing them altogether, allowing her drones to handle pretty much everything. Annoyingly, due to her big mech being now frozen in a fridge, she must still continue mining from time to time. While mining still is hard labor and does count as exercise, she does make sure to always fill up before and after she works up a sweat. But mining is a goal she can achieve and have enough materials stored to not worry about anything but gaining weight soon enough. As she thinks about her next meal, her massive fields worked by her trio of agricultural bots is nearly ready for harvest. As you can see, I utilized most of the rich soil on the whole map for growing high-yield crops that we will be using for meals and liquid concentrated nutrients. So here is the ancient danger. I only discovered it since I sent Blair to mine a component meteorite over there in the corner of the map. So I don't think we will be attempting to open it up, as it could destroy most of our robots even if we manage to stop whatever comes out. And also, I never liked the idea of cheesing these dangers by pulling a trade caravan into conflict with one. Well, if I am doing a story about someone who would not do that. When playing as a psychotic warmonger, it is very much in character to start a small war in your backyard and reap the profits. Oh right, the skills she has, they are pretty much random except for intellectual. Just seemed fitting that she is better at that if she was a mechanoid researcher that controls 18 of them and is able to craft even more. As for her traits, I set the weight opinion to fanatical and gave her gourmand to binge eat if she ever crashes out, and to be a masochist, so she does indeed enjoy being stuffed to the limit. But as you can see, even after who knows how much mining, she is at level 4 still. So now I am trying to construct a nutrient distillery system, as we won't be eating any vanilla nutrient slop here, but some highly concentrated stuff by the liter. I will be condensing it to 4 times the regular density, so we still have enough to push her stomach to expand and be constantly overstuffed, while still allowing her to absorb a good amount and gain weight quickly. If you only want to gain weight, you can concentrate it to the point where she can drink a meager drop to gain insane amounts of weight, but for expanding her capacity, you would not want to concentrate it at all. All in all, it's a balance. And just so you know, this truly does consume an unholy amount of raw food. So our 3 massive fields do not in fact even produce enough for constant unrestricted weight gain, as Blair gains more and more digestion perks, accelerating her pace. And with that, again moving a bit forward, our great harvest begins as the agriculture bots go into action harvesting and the loaders bring everything into storage. Our fabricator bot, being a level 10 skilled cook, starts preparing some huge meals, lavish meals for Blair. And that is good since she was running low on the packaged survival meals. Now this mod is very comprehensive and has multiple tech trees that you can go down into to create ever more absurd meals. But for this first simple story, I wanted to just limit ourselves to the somewhat humble, huge, lavish meals, and the feeding tank of course. And we will use a mix of these two, along with a special guest later on, to gain a lot of weight. Now as we stack up the huge meals in storage along with the nutrient liquid, in our massive 100-liter tank, I decide to spruce up the base, literally with the extra wood we had laying around in storage. As you may have noticed, the nutrient extract and distillery combo is no joke, and our vast fields only filled up the tank halfway so far. While I did sow the fields at different times, and with different crops like potatoes and corn, so we have a constant income of food, it is still jarring to see it disappear into that small person-sized tank. It must hold an astronomical amount of calories in there, that we will hopefully see soon piling up as pillowy fat on our little glutton. Here is where the main antagonists enter the scene, a pair of plague rats set on making our little fun play through a living hell. I do understand the threat these things are bringing to the table, and I gather all of the mechanoids and Blair in a doom stack to take them out as soon as possible. I was hoping that she would be able to shoot both with her gun in time, but she only gets one of them, so I send out the bots to feed the other one a knuckle sandwich. Victory. But as we walk away, it seems that she still somehow got the deadly virus, and I instantly send out the medical bot to heal her. I even used its jetpack to jump closer so he can apply his medicine as soon as possible. But as I now know, all of this was a mistake. I was supposed to lay down a medical bed and allow her to get bed rest while the bot automatically picks up medicine and heals her. It would have taken more time, but it would have been a much better quality tending and be able to save her in time. I will skip the whole me messing up here, as I frustratingly tried to pick up medicine with the bot and failed over and over, so I will just show you a reload where I did do it correctly and gain immunity in the end. Again, sorry for sucking at the game, I will try to improve for next time. Alright, I never did show how we handle the low-level raids, so here is one, while Blair is on bed rest. It's just a random guy that we beat up with 17 Roombas. It is kinda funny, so let's brighten the mood by seeing that guy get what he deserves. So even while a mechanoid controller is resting, you are able to control the robots around her in the radius shown. And fortunately the raider guy obliges and comes in signal range. Seeing as he is wielding a club and not really understanding where to even begin his raid, he poses very little threat. But I decide to show no mercy anyway, as we need to focus on saving our main settler. Now here we are back on track with a full immunity developed, and all of our food stores fully converted into rich nutrient liquid. Our gluttonous colonist has had enough waiting. It is time to start gaining, and that we will. As a huge thunderstorm rolls around, it is time to set this little fluid feeding setup to work and expand her capacity to the point where she can finally eat some of those huge lavish meals too. So we will be setting the food dispenser to force gain weight, as that option will constantly keep her overstuffed and expanding her stomach capacity too. As you can see, the liquid we made is truly potent, as in a single night we went from thin to thick, gaining around 15 kilos, and spending those weight gain points into even faster digestion and faster weight gain. We also expanded her maximum capacity by nearly double due to keeping her stuffed for so long. Now, as our newly thickened Blair gets up in the morning, a trade caravan arrives, and it is carrying something truly special. A cake. Well, not your average cake. A single slice of this thing has enough calories in it for 20 days, and even more so. It is enriched with pure glutonium, a substance that we will learn more about in a future playthrough maybe. But for now, even over its regular massive amount of calories, this cake even takes it a step further by causing you to gain weight even more rapidly than usual for a whole day. Apparently its effects feel so good that they cause an addiction. This is why it's called the cannot stop cake. So of course we are selling some useless garbage in order to buy as much of his incredible cake as we can. And now, as our hungry glutton returns to storage to examine the goods, she helps herself to a slice of it. And oh boy, the effects are instant. Her weight skyrocketing along with her mood as the effect hits her, making her rapidly gain kilogram after kilogram of raw fat everywhere on her body, going from no longer just thick but truly chunky. Gaining over 20 kilograms from this small piece of food, she feels extremely good about herself, going into a bit of a feeding frenzy today, with trying to eat a full huge lavish meal after the cake, since that really did not fill her up enough, being a single tiny slice. And after finishing up her huge meal, she is very much painfully stuffed to the limit, not being able to walk. But you know that she is enjoying every bit of this to the fullest. Now reaching past 90 kilos, she enters her chubby stage. She is truly rounding out to be a real glutton now, and we will keep on helping her out with this, just as her robot army does as well. This is where we get the first info about weight gain up top, saying that Blair has gained weight, and due to that, will move more slowly, and if no changes are made to her diet, she will continue to rapidly gain lots of weight. Now, seeing as this is exactly what she wants, we have no real reason to stop. And in fact, this will make her redouble her resolve in the next morning. Now, as another day begins, we start with another slice of the cake, again causing massive weight gain instantly, but also this time creating the initial addiction that makes her crave more and more of this delicious cake. Well, reading up on the cake addiction page there, it is very much calling us out directly with this added line in there. Or you could ignore this warning and keep fattening up the little pawn anyway. I know that's what you'll do anyway. Well, I am putting my hands up right now. You got me, we are not stopping, as our goals are aligned with Blair and we will help her get bigger than a tank. We are truly on track to do that now as she enters her next weight stage, called corpulent, reaching over 100 kilos. For you all Americans out there, that is 5% of a Ford F-150 truck, just to use a unit you are all familiar with. We are very inclusive over here on the N2 channel, so please leave a like and subscribe. So now that the cake is a must at certain periods, we will be using it once a day or so, but we will continue to expand our stomach capacity with the nutrient liquid, seeing as those huge meals are still a bit too much for her to handle. For today, we will be going up to the next weight stage on nutrient fluid alone. So as we slowly reach the next stage of fat here being just called fat, we can finally see her belly peek out from under and over her clothes. Finally, we get to see some of those massive, magnificent rolls that were being hidden all along by her outfit. In our quest for ever greater capacity, I also pick up the no pain, still gain trait that increases stomach elasticity, allowing for faster capacity increases. We are getting lots of perk points now, so we are able to take these more expensive ones too now. All of these seem to be based on the playstyle you like yourself. For example, you can get more out of your hard-farmed nutrients by gaining more weight from it. Or you could invest into more hunger gain and digestion speed. But if you are playing along, please make sure you are prepared for an absolute monster of consumption that will eat your whole colony's food and still be hungry for more. In our case, we only have mechanoids around, so no need to worry about our other colonists starving to death. As a solar flare hits us and disables our feeding systems, it is time for our little glutton to get up and do some manual stuffing again. This is also where she gets to the next stage, being obese at over 180 kilos. In these few short days, she has pretty much doubled her weight thanks to that amazing cake. Compared to some of the other foods this mod has to offer, this is pretty much nothing, as in the endgame, using some gluttonium enrichment, we are able to cook meals that have enough calories for an entire year, or even more, causing someone to go from thin to blob in a day. Would you like to see some of that high-level gameplay too at some point? I could create some more short stories like this one. Right back to the fats. So looks like her belly is pretty much touching the floor at all times now as she is walking, and well, when she is overstuffed, all she can do is touch the floor with her massive gut. It is funny to see her helplessly stuff herself, and then just lay there on the floor with her mountain of a belly sticking out. I did realize just now that the reason those huge meals are too much for her, she has been trying to eat two at once. What a champ. That is amazing. That masochism trait is working overtime today, it looks like. Looking at it now, she has outgrown the excavator robot in the fridge. That bulky boy is bigger than all of the other mechanoids combined, so she must really be proud of herself now as she can sumo wrestle it now. I like to think that this gave her even more encouragement to up her weight, so she goes for another slice of cake. So let's see her get truly massive past 200 kilos, and enter the next stage of fatness. Like always, the instant she eats the whole slice, her body enters euphoria in more ways than one, as she starts to pile up even more fat along with satisfying her cravings for more never-stop cake. Now for some more rats. This time we are taking zero chances as we put Blaine into her room and control the mechanoid army from inside to lay down a smackdown onto the rats. This is a much better way of handling things, it seems. Even if we do take some damage to our mechs, they can be repaired more easily than a human can be healed. And as the bots win the battle, Blair relived goes for another cake in the same day to hit her next milestone, becoming morbidly obese. At this point, she is fully bursting out of her clothes as nothing could possibly contain her fat. Hey, what do you think you are doing? C2, we are trying to look at Blair respectfully. Move over. I know she is very soft and you want to feel the jiggly mass for yourself, but we are trying to at least just see it. Ugh, why are you being so difficult today? Come on. You are making us very sad. Please let us see the fatty on the bed. What do you mean by wrap it up? Hey, we are still not the size of the tank. I need to see it. We are almost there. Come on. Alright, you guys can't understand her as she is censored, so I will translate for you. She is saying that pushing this further will only get the whole video deleted apparently, so we need to skip some time forward with the weight stages and wrap up the video for today. Well, you can see how we are doing the whole weight gain loop with stuffing, pumping, and cake. So let's look at what C2 allows us to see, and for next time, I will need to edit the mod to include censored sprites so we won't be limited by this anymore. It's sad that we need to do this, but it is the only way forward. As we get to the gigantic stage, we are officially wider than the tank with the layers of flab spilling past the bed and onto the wooden floor. Her enormous fat rolls now spill across the room like a wave of gluttony, and at this point she is dwarfing the huge mining mechanoid to the point where I doubt that even it designed to lift huge rocks could even attempt to lift her up at this point. But she is not stopping, she is pushing forward, gladly commanding her bots to feed her even more cake, meals along with a constant flow of the fattening liquid. Now reaching the titanic weight stage, I would say that she is indeed as big as the tank, with her belly on the side being the same length and her wideness far exceeding the tank long ago. But we did say that she wanted to be officially bigger, so we are pushing even further beyond into the realm of the truly massive, as we break the 1,000 kilo barrier, not stopping the stuffings for even a moment. Finally, as she reaches her goal, I would think that Blair is elated and proud of her achievement, not only being far larger than a tank, but nearly outgrowing her whole house. Finally feeling the metal walls with her gut, and not just the wooden floor for the first time, she already starts to think about making a new bigger house so she never stops growing.